how Ren is an ugly loser, completely broke and unemployed with absolutely nothing going for him. If his parents didn't leave him a home, how Ren would be sleeping on his piss at the park bench. All he wants is to graduate from university, get a job that pays $10,000 a month, and marry a cute girl. But doesn't realize that it's impossible for a below-average dude like him, who somehow manages to lose the bus that he was just on. He takes a nap on the park bench after failing another interview for a job, when a cute girl wakes him up. He panics since he's never talked to a cute girl before, and swears to her that he doesn't live in the park. She chuckles and tells him that she's lost and that she's looking for directions. And to his surprise, the gods have blessed this uninteresting boy with some luck, as she seems to be looking for his home, since he posted a while ago about vacant rooms available for rent. He wonders why she's at this park, since his home is really far away, so she gets close and realizes that she's completely lost. They take the last bus back and are walking through town, when suddenly Lily tells him to go ahead. He's confused, so she pins him to the wall and tells him that she's got his scent. He tells her that this is a bit too fast, but she tells him to put it back in his pants and run. Just then, her hair transforms, and another girl appears out of nowhere as a battle ensues. The gothic girl grabs Lily's tail to get some distance as she jumps and spreads her wings as Lily lets out a howl. The Batgirl calls her an adorable dog before she disappears and reappears next to Ren, asking him if he's hurt. He's confused why she's concerned, but can't think for long as Lily catches up and tosses some bricks to scare the bat away. She tells him that she's a werewolf and tells him it's not safe anymore for her to stay at his place. But as she walks away, he tells her that he has no idea what's going on, but that he can't leave a girl on the streets, and tells her that she can still rent his room. Being a werewolf also doesn't change the fact that she's cute, so Ren shows her the room. But unfortunately, no extracurricular activities tonight for Ren since she's too tired from the fight. The next day, the Batgirl appears again and grabs Ren, telling Lily that a dog should be out hunting bunnies. Lily calls her a stupid vampire and tells her to take her blood-sucking fantasies to another human. The battle intensifies again, decimating the living room and causing Ren to explode. The two apologize, and the girl introduces herself, claiming that she's also here to rent a room. She tells him that she's a noble vampire, able to control her desire for blood, and doesn't drink dirty human blood since they have too many weird diseases these days. He shows her to her room and tells him that she'll pay for rent now, but realizes that her money is gone. She begs him, saying that she lost her money 4 times this month, and after offering her body for a room, Ren tells her that she can pay him later. Vivian shows off her cooking skills, and Lily even compliments her cooking, when suddenly, Ren gets a surprising call from a person who says that he's late for an interview. He knows that he didn't have an interview today, but decides not to think too much into it as he heads out to the interview location, which doesn't look like a place where he should be having an interview. He gets a call again, and the person instructs him to place his hand on the pole, and when he looks up, he sees a massive building in the sky. He gets teleported up and finds himself in front of a large door. He makes his way in and ends up in front of a beautiful girl with incredible assets. She tells him that he's in the SpaceTime Corporation's headquarters and introduces herself as his future boss. She tells him to come closer and tells him that he has nice eyes for an ugly dude. She tells him to relax and begins to slurp up the long, juicy cup ramen noodles when he asks her what in the actual fuck is going on. She tells him that he was chosen by the Xiling Empire to protect his region from the many species who plot to destroy the universe. He asks if she sent Vivian and Lily, and she tells him that she didn't, but tells him that his next tenant will be someone she sends. She tells him that his meeting with Vivian and Lily is fate, but he tells her that he's just a landlord, with below-average stats across the board. She tells him that she knows about his underwhelming qualities, but tells him that he already passed the first phase of the interview by accepting the 2 girls into his home, and tells him that his below-average looks are fine for the job position, since it really just requires a stupid and naive boy. Perfect for someone like him. She brings him to a digital room and tells him that he has 2 main jobs. The first is to take care of the fantastic beings who stay with him. The second is to help stop any fantastic beings who deviate from their path of evolution and become a threat to the world. She tells him that he has the option to refuse the job offer, but tells him that she'll erase his memory and will be forced to kick out his current tenants from his home. But if he accepts, he'll have a good salary and even receive free insurance. Ren looks through the contract and sees that the company even provides gifts on holidays and reimbursement for his groceries. Despite the job being anything but normal, Ren can't deny that the job comes with two of his life goals, a 10K salary and the potential for a cute wife. So after careful consideration, Ren signs the papers, unbeknownst to the crazy adventures that await. At home, he tells the girls about the job, and Vivian is unaware of the SpaceTime Corporation. But if they are trying to house fantastic beings, she concludes that they're probably not on the side of demon hunters. Demon hunters are monsters with half-human blood, who the fantastic beings have been in war with since the beginning of time. Later, Ren takes a nap when he finds himself in a dreamy world. He sees two moons and swears that he hasn't seen any sightings of Truck Coon recently. He thinks this must be a dream, but he slaps himself and realizes that he can feel pain. He begins to hear the howling of wolves, so he makes a run for it, but trips over a rock as the wolf jumps on its next meal. Just then, he hears Lily's voice and is pulled out of this nightmare, but is shocked to see the hair of the wolf on the palm of his hands. Lily goes for a sniff and tells him that this isn't the same wolves that she's friends with around the area. Vivian tries to put a magical protection spell on Ren, but for some reason, none of them seem to work. He goes into the office the next day, hoping to ask Raven about his strange dream, but Raven meets him at the entrance dressed in a gardening suit, holding the type of sword that she prefers on any occasion, long and thick. Our boy Ren doesn't hold back as he checks her out and asks if she likes it long and thick. She tells him that it's her favorite kind and flashes her technique handling the big sword. After her exercise, Raven gives him a device, calling it a data terminal, and tells him that it'll call for immediate help when he's in mortal danger on a mission. Ren is shocked when she says that he can die on this job, but she tells him not to worry, telling him that the company will get him another container for his soul if his body is destroyed, claiming that he's practically immortal now. She then brings him to the strengthening center, telling him that all noobs must go through the training exercise to gain abilities. She tells him to get into a coffin, but he protests, telling her that this is a strange request. She tells him to man the fuck up, but he tells her that he'll sue the company for harassment. She kicks him into the coffin and puts up a barrier, telling him not to worry about a thing. He repeats again that this is harassment, but she tells him that harassment isn't a word in her dictionary as she initiates the exercise. He cries for help while injected with a serum, and the coffin energizes from a spinning motion until it disappears from sight. Ren ends up in the same world where he had his dream, and he remembers the same chilling feeling from yesterday. The data terminal lights up and introduces his name as Data, telling him that it'll be his guide for this exercise. Data guides him to a majestic forest and tells him that he's in the dream dimension, a place parallel to the real world. Not long after, the same wolves appear and attack, but this time, a blue barrier appears to protect his flesh as Data tells him that he activated his defense shield. In response, the wolves begin to howl as we see a large wolf make his appearance on a big rock. Ren runs for his life, but the big wolf pins him down with ease, biting down for its next meal. When the shield activates again, the wolf asks who he is, and Ren is surprised that it can talk. It tells him not to compare him with other beasts that howl at the moon, as Ren remembers that Lily said the same thing just the other day. The wolf tells him that it doesn't matter, telling him that it's going to feed him to his pups anyways. But Ren negotiates, telling the wolf that he'll repair his fangs if he takes him to the nearest settlement. The wolf agrees to the exchange, bringing him to a small cabin nearby. Inside, he manages to find a rune that creates a beam of light to the sky, as we see Ren disappear. Ren gets back to the real world, and he tells Raven about what happened. He tells her that he only manifested a shield ability, and she tells him not to be greedy, telling him that all necessary skills will eventually come out. Ren asks about the dream world, to which Raven responds that it is also called the Phantom Dimension, a parallel world that constantly changes alongside the real world, but never intersects it. She tells him that no human can ever enter that world without special means, but Ren tells her that he went there last night in his dream, which surprises her as he shows her the wolf hair as proof. But she stays quiet and tells him that he'll go on a mission tomorrow to find and bring back his new tenant, who is currently somewhere in Europe. After he leaves, Raven chants a spell that evaporates the wolf hair, as she seems to have figured something out. The next day, the trio are on the plane when Lily looks at the menu and claims that she'll eat everything on it until she is full. Vivian asks for information concerning the new tenant, but Ren tells her that he knows just as little as she does. Lily tells them that she can't wait to meet another fantastic being, but Vivian tells her to stop being so loud all the time. She then looks out the window and is fascinated at how high they're flying. Ren remembers that she could fly, but she tells him that she can't fly this high since her wings would freeze at this altitude. He worries that people will notice her if she flies too low, but she tells him that she can fly at supersonic speeds, imperceivable to the human eye. Lily laughs, claiming that she probably can't afford a plane ticket, as the two begin to bicker once again. When they arrive, the three make their way through the cold and foggy weather, as Vivian comments that England has changed, adding that she used to live here before. She tells the group that she'll handle the directions, but is embarrassed when no one understands a word she says. Ren asks when she lived in England, and Vivian responds that it's been a couple hundred years. Ren says that Vivian is just as useless as Lily, and she immediately rebukes him for comparing them, telling him to not compare her to a brainless mutt. She then thinks of a great idea, putting up the letter from the hotel in front of her nose, as she points to where they need to go. But Lily doesn't want to move, claiming that she's too hungry. Ren tells her that the food is probably incredible at the hotel, causing Lily to regain her energy. At the hotel, Lily and Vivian get hyped up by the luxurious room, as Vivian sinks into the plush mattress, and claims that she has never felt softer pillows in her entire life. Lily orders a buffet, causing Ren to explode, since they're on a tight budget. Ren moves on after they apologize, and he uses data to pull up a map of the area, but Raven pops up on the screen, and she realizes that she didn't download the new update for the terminal. Once completed, Data informs Ren that he'll be able to translate all conversations moving forward. The three catch a meal downstairs when Vivian gets annoyed by Lily's eating habits, but Ren tells her that it's too late to train the doggy proper etiquette. Just then, Vivian receives a message from her patrolling familiar and tells Ren that they should return to the room, stating that they have an intruder. A suspicious man arrives at their table, who introduces himself as Nan. Only Vivian is a little suspicious, so Ren lets him sit at their table, and he asks Nan about Yorkford, which is the place where the third tenant is supposed to be. Nan tells them that Yorkford has been a wasteland for years, and that it only has the ruins of a castle. He cautions them, saying that the castle ruins is known to have ghosts. Later, Vivian warns Ren that there may be a demon hunter at the hotel, claiming that her familiar found a demon hunter's seal. He tells her that Lily seems to not be detecting any danger, and Vivian tells him that he expects too much of her. She tells him that it could be Nan from earlier, and just then, Nan butts in from the balcony next door, and boldly tells them that he is, in fact, a demon hunter. Vivian cracks up, since it's the first time she has seen a demon hunter reveal their identity without being coerced. She tells Ren that the dude is either weak or a fake, brushing off her worries and claiming that she's going to bed. Dan gets lit and flashes his moves, but falls off the balcony, only for Ren to catch his fall. Inside now, Nan explains that demon hunters must reveal their identity to make a living these days, and shows his seal for proof. Considering Nan to be a friendly demon hunter, the four agree to head to Yorkford together, since Nan also has business there. The next day, they ride together on the train when they watch an interview with an ugly man concerning the ghosts. According to the ugly man, the ghosts are guarding a treasure deep inside the castle, and Vivian's eyes light up with excitement. Just then, three ghost hunters enter the train, and Vivian immediately detects that they are not normal people. They arrive at the inn, and the group immediately recognize the ugly man from the interview, since his extra ugly face is hard to miss. He provides them with only 2 rooms since the hotel is fully booked, and since Lily is passed out, Vivian carries her up. When Lily suddenly bites Vivian in her sleep, Lily keeps sucking on Vivian all the way up, until Vivian finally gets her off inside the room, when Vivian is alerted by her familiar. Meanwhile, Ren and Nan get some information on the castle, and Angus tells them the history of the castle, and the battle that left hundreds of knights buried in the soil. He tells them that those knights are now ghosts that guard the treasure buried deep in the castle, and also mentions that the owner of the castle set up a ton of traps to prevent any treasure hunters from finding his gold. After getting the details, the group decide to call it a night, and Ren finds Nan in a special demon hunter sleeping bag, which Nan claims to be overpowered, repelling insects, and providing protection from magical attacks. It can even allow his arms and legs easy mobility for tough situations. Just then, Ren spots a mosquito, but he removes the threat immediately, as Nan realizes that the sleeping bag needs some improvements. Ren then sees a picture of Nan's sister, but when he asks about her, Nan passes out immediately. During the night, the ghost hunters from earlier hitch a ride from Angus, as we see Nan spotting their departure. A little later, Vivian elbow drops Ren in the nuts, startling him, and causing him to think that she's here to steal his virginity. She tells him that she ain't that kind of girl, and tells him that Nan has made his move to the castle. The pair go to wake up Lily, but Ren is shocked when they find the room destroyed. Vivian explains that the dog has a unique way of sleeping, as she continues to suck on things long and thick. He picks her up, telling her to wake up, but Vivian tells her that it won't work unless you put some force. Vivian tells the dog that it's time for her walk, as the three head out. Ren hitches a ride with Vivian, and Lily uses her legs while seemingly passed out. Lily runs straight into a rock wall, and tells the two that it hurts. The rock wall breaks, opening up a secret pathway to the castle. Vivian talks to some bats, and the group navigate their way through the cave until they find themselves at the creepy castle. The ghost hunters are somewhere around the castle as well, but after getting attacked by a bunch of bats, a scary vampire, and a howling wolf, the hunters make a run for it. The group wanted to scare them off so that they don't get in the way of finding the tenant. Lily removes the boulder blocking the entrance, and the group find a secret pathway inside. Meanwhile, Nan finds his own secret pathway as he too enters the catacombs. The group head deeper into the dungeon when they come across Angus. They decide to coat themselves in Vivian's magic to look like ghosts to scare Angus. He pleads for his life, claiming that he's only here to make the place more haunting, in order to attract more hunters to his inn. They scare him away, realizing that he has no ulterior motive. They head deeper inside, when they find Demon Hunter runes written on the wall. Vivian places her hand on the runes, and the runes begin to react to Vivian's magic, causing the traps to activate as Ren puts up his barrier. They eventually escape the arrows, but a boulder begins to roll down their hallway, which they are able to avoid by hugging the wall. However, the group are out of luck, having a dog on the team, as Lily begins to run after the big ball. She falls into another trap, and Vivian is able to catch her fall. Meanwhile, Nan is right behind the group, as he too falls for the trap by touching the rune wall. Back to the group, the girls land on the bottom and use their bodies to save Ren. Suddenly, Vivian sees a sea of gold, while Lily sees a ton of meat. However, Ren stops them from advancing, realizing it's another trap, as their visions clear to see a pitfall. The illusion shows the person's deepest desires, but Ren seems to have been immune, as Vivian thinks that he's probably immune since he's a boring guy with no ambition. Elsewhere, Nan is seen with arrows pierced on his body, while he claims that these traps are child's play for an S-rank demon hunter. He then falls into another trap, and while descending, he realizes that recording his fall in the beautiful scenery would make a good video to gain more subscribers for his demon hunter business. Back to the group, they decide to rest for a bit, when suddenly the night ghosts make their appearance. Lily disarms one of them, and takes its sword before they run into a room and blockade the entrance. They read the writing on the sword that says, "The demon stone is sealed, kill any intruder." Vivian realizes that there's a summoning stone in the castle that summons a demon. They look up and see the stone hanging in the very room where they stand. Just then, a blast from the ceiling catches the group off guard, but Ren puts up his shield on time. They hear a voice and recognize it to be Nan. The walls begin to open as the ghost knights surround the group. Arrows are sent from above as Nan reveals himself. He tells them to fear no longer as he jumps up like he's about to fly, but ends up crashing down on the floor. He gives his best smile, telling them not to worry since he's a demon hunter. Despite being an idiot, Nan is capable as he flashes his moves, taking down the ghosts one by one. Lily and Ren buy time for Vivian, who begins to chant the words to a powerful magic spell. Nan shouts at the ghost to feel his wrath, but realizes that he's completely out of bullets. Lily throws a bunch of rocks, but begins to get too hungry to fight further. Ren looks to Vivian as she opens her eyes and finally activates her ultimate ability, but to their surprise, the magic is sucked up by the crystal on the ceiling. The stone activates, sending a beam of light to the sky, forming a swirling cloud that sends meteors down to the earth. And in the next moment, an ominous demon appears above that sends out a roar felt throughout the lands. It points his finger to the sky, and sends down a massive fireball that coats the entire castle in a blazing fire. But to the demon's surprise, the group are still alive, safely tucked into Ren's barrier. The demon picks up Ren and Nan and flies off as Vivian and Lily chase after it. The demon lands and lets the two go after traveling a distance and begins to grunt at the group. Vivian charges up, saying that a vampire should have the same magical strength as a demon in theory. Just then, two moons in the sky are revealed by the clouds, as Vivian states that this is her strongest spell. Suddenly, the demon speaks, asking if Ren is the landlord, as the group is completely shocked. He introduces himself as Isaac, and says it's a pleasure to meet their acquaintance. Data confirms that he is the new tenant, and Isaac asks Ren to make a contract. Lily introduces herself, and Isaac puts out a claw to shake hands. Vivian is still on her guard, claiming that he sent down a meteor with killing intent, but Isaac tells her that her magic is powerful, calling her a wonderful sorceress and causing Vivian to blush from the compliment. Isaac turns into his human form as the group head back home together. At the headquarters, Ren reports in, and Raven tells him that Isaac is a chill demon from space. He used to wage war against the entire universe, conquering other species, but the company no longer considers him a threat since he's given that life up. Later, Ren visits Vivian's room and sees that she has a talent for interior decoration. Vivian hands him something she picked up from the castle, and Ren realizes it has similar writings to the rune he picked up in the dream dimension. Ren also picked up another rune from the castle, and the two analyze the 3 runes they have collected. Vivian reads Glory, Power, and Resurrection on one of the tablets, and continues to read, Wake the power source and the door will open. Vivian uses all 5 of her brain cells, but tells him that she has no clue what it means. During the night, we see Lily stand up from her sleep with golden eyes, freaking the cat out before going back to sleep. The next day, Ren is called into the office early in the morning when he walks by a cute girl playing the guitar. She waves at our below-average looking protagonist and tells him to come over, but Ren's Riz is exactly equivalent to 0, so he decides to keep walking, as the girl can't believe she just got rejected by a 3 out of 10. For his next mission, Ren is told that he must travel 895 light-years away to pick up the next tenant. He complains, so she slams her coffee mug on the table and tells him that he needs to broaden his mind, or he'll never get a cute girlfriend. She tells him that he'll have a professional companion, and introduces him to Satsuki, the girl he met earlier. Raven also tells him that she'll be his new tenant, as the two are in shock at the revelation. He introduces the others back home, and Satsuki mentions that she is also a fantastic being, saying that she's a mermaid. After, Satsuki and Ren decide to take Isaac with them to the next mission, since he has experience in outer space. Lily throws a tantrum, shouting that she wants to go as well, but she eventually stops whining relatively quicker than the usual, noting that her stomach hasn't been feeling well these days. At night, Ren gets a drink of water when Satsuki creeps up behind him. She tells him that she's sensitive to noises, so he apologizes for waking her up. She asks him what he is, not buying that he's a below-average human, housing 3 beautiful, fantastic beings, but he tells her that he's just a normal dude. She tells him that she can look past the ugly face since he's a nice person, and tells him that she's looking forward to their date in outer space, before heading to bed. The next day, Data teleports the 3 up to the space station, and the 3 meet the station's attendant, who will be their guide. Ren finds out she's an alien, and can't believe that she's pretty damn hot. Totally different from what he imagined aliens should look like. She tells them that the gravity has been adjusted to meet their needs all around the station. But the 3 begin to talk about something else, striking a nerve as the attendant asks them if they're listening. Data apologizes to her, telling her that they're a bunch of mentally challenged individuals. She guides them to their ship, and Ren is amazed to see different alien species. The captain of the ship appears on a hologram, noting that the spaceship has the ability to travel faster than light, allowing them to get to their destination within a day. While they head to their destination, Lily cries that the landlord has left her, and Vivian tells her that she'll make her food, and tells her not to be depressed, as she wonders why she's treating Lily like her own child. Lily asks if she can't fly in outer space, and when she finds out she can't, Lily calls her useless for only being useful in the kitchen. Vivian tells Lily that she can't even make cup ramen, but Lily cries that she's good at boiling water. On their way, the spaceship encounters the SpaceTime Corporation's greatest rival called the Space Fiery Group, challenging them to a race. Data panics, telling the group that they must get out immediately, or they may end up getting stranded in space if they get kicked out of the warp tunnel. The group get to a smaller ship on the ship, but are unable to leave due to the closed hatch. Isaac volunteers to open the hatch since he can breathe in space, and the group are able to travel a distance until they reach their destination. They enter the atmosphere, but the ship breaks down during the descent, causing the ship to freefall into the ocean. Ren begins to drown, but he sees a beautiful mermaid in front of him before losing consciousness. Ren opens his eyes and finds himself in the dream dimension. Data informs him that he's entered the dream realm, and that his real-world body is taken care of by Satsuki. Just then, Ren hears a fight outside, and goes out to see 2 packs of wolves in the middle of a fight. He defends the incoming attacks from the red wolves, and after being pushed back, the red wolves retreat. The big wolf asks if he's here to humiliate them, and Ren says he isn't, and even keeps his promise of fixing their teeth. He also asks about the rune, and the wolf tells him that it's a luck charm, but before it can explain further, Ren wakes up in the real world. Meanwhile, Vivian prepares a feast for Lily, when all of a sudden, Lily passes out for a split second, and opens them with golden eyes as her white ears pop out. Her feral nature comes out, so Vivian pins her down, telling her to come back to her senses. Back at the group, they travel a distance until they reach a ruined ship, where Isaac ravages through the remains to find any clues about the tenant. After finding no clues, Data informs them that the rest of the remains is in the bottom of the ocean. So Satsuki dives into the water and throws her clothes at Ren, causing his virgin mind to explode as her pants lands on his head. Satsuki transforms to her mermaid form and tells Ren to jump in. He hesitates, so Isaac gives him a little push, since Isaac is a brother who looks out for his virgin brothers. Satsuki places a breathing spell on Ren so he doesn't drown, but the two are immediately attacked by a large shark. Satsuki transforms into a big octopus, which scares the shark away. She then transforms into a shrimp and tells him to ride her downtown. He gets on top of her as the two make their way downtown. They find the location of the main compartment of the ship, so Satsuki creates a bubble spell, allowing them to investigate the compartment on their 2 feet. Satsuki doesn't transform back to a human, however, telling Ren that she technically doesn't have any clothes on now, and she would be completely bare without her scales to cover her body. The virgin stares at the scales, and Satsuki blushes, telling him to stop staring and put it back in his pants. Data opens the compartment door, and they search around without finding any humans on board, so Ren calls Raven, who tells him that the tenant is definitely there. He points her camera towards the ship, and she tells him that she sees the tenant in front of her eyes, telling them that the egg is the new tenant. They get back to shore, where they meet up with Isaac when a ship arrives. Raven personally comes to pick them up and tells Ren that she brought him his company car, and that this new spaceship is his. She tells him that it's called the Giant Turtle Stonehenge, and the loser actually thinks it's a great name. Raven tells him that the egg is a nymph egg from another dimension, the last life form from the so-called ruined dimension. He tells her that it's a lot of responsibility to take care of the last life form of an extinct species, but she tells him that it's an extremely resilient egg that can withstand anything, so long as you don't boil it in boiling water. Data connects to the ship, and the group head back home in the Giant Turtle Stonehenge. The group return home and find that the place was completely ransacked. Vivian comes out with a tied-up rabid dog, as everyone wonders what's wrong with Lily. She escapes using her teeth and attacks Ren before she is pushed back by his barrier. She licks her lips as she sets eyes on the egg, but Isaac manages to immobilize her with his big-ass muscles. Ren thinks it's best to go see Raven about Lily's condition, so Mr. Muscles uses soy sauce to make a teleportation circle, since demons specialize in teleportation magic. Raven is enjoying her cup ramen and is displeased when her slurping fantasies are interrupted. Ren tells her that they have a big problem, so she asks if the problem is the rabid wolf on her leg. She grabs her head and glares into her eyes as Lily begins to calm down. Lily tells her that there's a noodle on her face, so Raven wipes it off and tells her to focus on looking into her damn eyes. Lily sees a red moon and sees a vision of people dying, causing her to say that she needs to get stronger before she gets agitated again. But Raven puts her down with a flick of her finger as Lily lies passed out on the floor. Raven tells them that Lily isn't sick, rather that Lily is about to evolve into a stronger species and awaken new werewolf powers. She tells them that this is the regression phase before the evolution occurs, telling them that she'll eventually transform into her full wolf form before awakening her hidden power. Later, Lily wakes up, and the group are glad that Lily feels better now. Ren visits Raven after, and she tells him that Lily will again transform tomorrow with the next full moon, and that his next mission is to properly deal with her transformation. Ren then takes the group camping, hoping to stay away from the city when the transformation occurs. It eventually happens as Lily begins to howl at the moon, and intense winds form around her. Lily reappears as a dog-like figure as the group realize that she was actually a dog and not a wolf this whole time. Ren steps up and is relieved to see that Lily's dog form is friendly. Suddenly, Lily begins to howl, and to the group's surprise, she dashes away with intent. Isaac tries to stop her with his muscles, but she slaps the silly muscle man away. Vivian traps her in her magic, and Ren tries to tame the dog from up top. When Satsuki begins to sing, since mermaid songs have a soothing effect, Lily calms down and passes out as she transforms back to her human form. When they finally get home, the troubles don't end as two mysterious men knock out Ren and kidnap Lily. In her dream, Lily is seen floating in space, wearing gloves that have an embedded stone. She summons Wolverine claws as her left one emits a cold aura while her right emits fire. She then wakes up, wondering where she is. She tries to leave, but is sent back flying by the magical barrier preventing her escape. The two mysterious men appear, claiming that they're Lily's allies. Lily tells them to give her food if they're allies, and they tell her that they will if she agrees to join them. She throws a fit, charging at the two as one of them blocks while the other knocks her out. Luckily, Vivian's familiar was with Lily. She tries to escape through the vent to inform the group of the location, and manages to do so, but not without taking damage. It arrives badly injured, but is able to let them know of Lily's whereabouts. The group immediately depart for the location, and split up into two groups to search each building. Isaac and Satsuki barge in on three muscular people, who force them to stay since they broke the door. Meanwhile, Vivian and Ren are attacked in midair as the kidnapper transforms into a wolf. He sends out a bunch of attacks that Vivian dodges and charges at the two with all he has. Vivian draws his attacks while Ren hangs off the ledge, but eventually comes around to fly off with Ren. She places him on a water tower and follows up with a bad attack. The enemy hears Ren call out Vivian's name as he recognizes the name of the countess that summons the Red Moon. Back to the other two, Isaac begins to sweat profusely, stuck in an intense battle with other muscular people in a game of mahjong. But Isaac is lucky to have Satsuki, who seems to be a pro at the game, as they reveal the winning hand and take their leave. All the while, Ren manages to sneak into the factory building, but is immediately met by the other kidnapper, who overpowers Ren's defenses. Ren runs for his life, but Data tells him to man the fuck up, telling him that he's probably manifested more powers by now. He takes another shot as the wolf continues his assault. Suddenly, Ren instinctively jumps, shocking himself on how high he can go. He manages to activate the fire sprinkler, preventing the wolf from detecting his scent. He decides to go after Lily and eventually finds her in a room passed out on the floor. He wakes her up and asks her if she's okay, but she tells him that she isn't since she's extremely hungry. He sighs with relief and tells her that they can eat when they get home. As they leave, the wolfman stops them and claims again that Lily is on their side. Lily tells him that she's not on their side, and the wolfman claims that the vampire witch seduced her well. Just then, Vivian makes a flashy entrance, revealing that she's taken out the other wolf. The defeated wolf tells the other that the vampire is the countess, so the wolf asks Lily if she's with the bat because she's powerful. Lily responds that she's her family, causing Vivian to feel embarrassed. Ren realizes that there's some sort of misunderstanding, so he asks the two if they can just sit down and talk. He explains everything to the two wolves, so they introduce themselves. Hasa can't believe that a dog and a vampire are able to live together, but accepts Ren's explanation, not sensing any lies. He's also not surprised since fantastic beings have been uniting for the so-called Day of the Prophecy, a prophecy made by mermaids that the day of the resurgence of fantastic beings is approaching, claiming that there will be a great battle on that day. Just then, demon hunters reveal themselves, surrounding the group, claiming that they can't have fantastic beings allying with each other. Ewan gets hit with an arrow as a suited man demands that the Eben brothers follow them out of the premises. Ren steps in, claiming that he will not back down, so the suited man gives the order to capture the brothers and kill the rest. Ren defends with his shield, as the demon hunters are surprised at the ability. The group make a run for it when the bullets stop, and Ren puts up the shield once again when the bullets fire again. Vivian takes the offensive, drawing the enemy's attention away from the group, and Lily follows suit. Ren sends Data up to blind the enemy as the brothers and Ren make their escape. Ren gets separated as a demon hunter prevents his advance. She wonders if he's really just a human, and he confirms that he is just a below-average human. She claims that a human can never have that kind of speed and power, and states that he must be a new kind of monster, and that she'll bring him with her to run experiments. He throws Data to distract and comes up behind her, but she's too fast as she attacks him from a distance. He dodges her attack, but she dodges his attack as well when he gets into close range. However, Ren catches up to her again and lands a punch to the gut as she is driven to the ground. Meanwhile, Vivian's bats distract the fat demon hunter and Lily pounds him with her fists. Meanwhile, the Eben brothers are in danger as Casa takes a bullet for his brother. Ewan pins down the attacker, but the other demon hunter puts him down with a special dagger that freezes its victim. He puts a knife by Yuan's throat and demands Casa to tell him about the day of prophecy. Just then, Ren flashes in, as Lily also makes her appearance. Lily then summons the same claws from her dream, and sends out a fire and ice tornado, forcing the hunters to defend. After the haze clears, the hunters find that Ren and group have escaped. The group find cover in the forest. Satsuki and Isaac rendezvous at the location. Satsuki uses her water magic to channel a healing spell on Yuan, while Casa continues the previous conversation about the prophecy. It is said that there will come a day when fantastic beings become more powerful than the demon hunters, allowing them to live free from the fear that the demon hunters bring. After Satsuki finishes the healing process, a demon hunter attacks the group, but is easily put down by Isaac. A suited man approaches, and Isaac tells the group that he'll handle the threat. The man throws his knives, but they're ineffective against a demon lord. Isaac tells the man to stop throwing his toys, and scares him with a meteor that sends the man running away in fear. But he gets caught in the magic circle that Isaac set up during the water healing process, and teleports him back in range of Isaac's muscles, and sends him back bleeding with just a flick of his finger. The Eben brothers thank the group for their help, and ask Lily one more time if she won't come to her brethren, but she tells him that her family is right here, as she hugs Vivian. The brothers understand, so they say their farewells as they disappear. The group also decide to take their leave, but are attacked by the female demon hunter. Tensions rise as she points her knife at Satsuki's throat, when suddenly Nan makes his presence known, and dashes in during the tense moment. He tells the female demon hunter that he's from the special division, and tells her that he's been instructed by the higher-ups to bring the mermaid with him. She recognizes the division, so she apologizes and hands Satsuki over, while we see Satsuki looking a little irritated by Nan's presence. The female demon hunter takes her comrades and leaves, and after, Satsuki elbows Nan, telling him to get his hands off her. She kicks him to send him flying, and calls him brother while asking why he came, as Ren is shocked that a mermaid just called a demon hunter brother. When they get home, Lily turns on the stove like she's about to cook something, and we already know that this is not a good omen, since it's already been explained that Lily has absolutely no cooking skills. Meanwhile, Nan proudly tells the group that Satsuki is her younger sister, while Satsuki can't be more ashamed of her brother. He asks her why, when he spends 5 hours every day and every night admiring a photo of her, claiming that he even looks at it every time he goes into the bathroom. She tells him that explanation is exactly why, calling him gross, while Ren can't believe that the two are related. Lily comes back in, and Vivian asks what she was doing, since Lily is never in the kitchen, but she tells them that it's a secret. Ren can't understand why she's so grossed out by her brother, but she explains that the dude is straight up the creepiest of stalkers, claiming that he follows her everywhere she goes. He tells her that he just loves her like a brother, but honestly, the guy is sus as fuck. Ren asks if Nan is also a merman, but he tells him that he's 100% a demon hunter, claiming that his father is a demon hunter and his mom is a mermaid. Ren is surprised, so Vivian explains that there isn't such a thing as a merman when a mermaid breeds with another species, and that a mermaid can only be born as a female in that scenario. Satsuki reveals that their parents disappeared out of the blue one day, which is why Satsuki has been traveling around the world to find them. The conversation somehow changes to Lily, who still doesn't know that she's a dog and not a wolf. She's certain that she's a wolf, but the others tell her that they saw her transform into a dog. Vivian says that she can prove it, as she bites down on Lily's neck, shocking Ren, saying that he thought they were about to do something else. Vivian claims that she can basically do a blood test by sucking on a person's blood, and announces that Lily is mainly a Siberian Husky, with a small breed of Pekingese, and 0% wolf. Vivian laughs at her stupidity for thinking she was a wolf all along, and the two get into another cat fight. Just then, the doorbell rings, and Nan opens the door to see the Eben brothers, so the trio get ready for battle. Ren tries to stop them, but his below-average presence is ineffective, so Isaac steps in with his above-average presence, and gets them to apologize. Vivian gets to the point, and asks Casa why they're here, to which he responds that he's here to request for their help in the upcoming prophecy battle. Vivian and the group don't believe in the prophecy, claiming that they've heard a bunch of fake prophecies before. But Casa whips out a golden bar, lighting up a fire in Vivian's eyes, as Casa claims that he'll give a bar for every fantastic being who joins the fight. Vivian strokes the stick of pleasure with her hands, seemingly unable to resist her deepest temptations, when suddenly, the lights go black. Ren asks Data how much money is left in his bank account, and when he says 80 yen, the group realize that they're broke as fuck. Ren heads into his room, realizing that even after a full season of an anime, he is still the same ugly loser from the start of the show. But luckily for him, he's got others who tolerate his ugly existence, as they all agree to start working to help pay the bills. The next morning, Ren wakes up to find everyone gone. Lily is seen working at a dog cafe, as we see her comforting one of my otaku viewers. Satsuki plays her guitar at the park, as she wonders what happened to her brother. He is seen climbing a mountain, as he tells his sister to wait for him, claiming that he'll have a mountain of gold when he comes back. Isaac and Vivian arrive, and Vivian says that they should team up to find treasure in the ocean. She reveals a treasure map, claiming that this is the best way for them to earn a quick buck for the house. Meanwhile, Ren visits Raven, and Raven scolds him, telling him to not come into work to talk about non-work related stuff. He tells her that it is work related, and asks her if he can have a raise. She breaks her fork, but then realizes that he did well quelling the demon hunter incident, so she agrees to it. He then asks her about the prophecy, claiming that his rune from the dream dimension said something similar about the prophecy. Raven confirms it, telling him that most of the fantastic beings on Earth came from the dream dimension. Raven understands that he wants to help the demon hunters and fantastic beings, but tells him that even if he knew the whole truth, he wouldn't be able to stop the cycle of hatred. He tells her that he still wants to try, so she gives him another mission, telling him that he can investigate the dream dimension as much as he wants to find a solution. Happy with her approval, Ren heads home, and walks into a pleasant surprise, as they tell him that they've earned some money to help pay the bills. The group enjoy a big feast, and after, Ren informs them about the next mission, as everyone agrees to head for the dream dimension together. Just then, Ren realizes that he totally forgot about his egg tenant, and wonders where he put it. He goes into the kitchen to see Lily boiling the egg, and the group freak out since Raven specifically told them to not boil the egg, as we see the egg starting to crack. What a legend for making it to the end. See you in this next video.